Hello students. Today we are going to have a presentation on a very beautiful poem, My Mother at 66. This poem has been composed by famous Malayali poet Kamala Das. Let's take a view of the index of this presentation. First of all, we will have a brief background of the poet, the central idea of the poem, and then the text of the poem. I will also provide you a summary so that you can understand the poem more effectively. The key points of the poem will be discussed. I will also give you some questions and exercises on vocabulary, and last of all, some poetic devices will be find out so that you can have an idea what kind of questions are asked in the board exams. Kamala Das, also known as Kamala Suraiya, was born on 31st March 1934 in Malabar, Kerala. She was an Indian English poet and literator, and at the same time a leading Malayalam author. Her popularity in Kerala is based chiefly on her short stories and autobiography written under name Madhava Kutti, while her oeuvre in English, written under the name Kamala Das, is noted for the poems and explicit autobiography. Some of her works in English include the novel Alphabet of Lust that was published in 1977, a collection of short stories as Padmavati, The Harriet, and other stories which was published in 1992. In addition to 5 books of poetry, she is a sensitive writer who captures the complex subtleties of human relationships in lyrical form. My Mother at 66 is an example.
Kamala Das has received many awards for her literary contribution, including nominated and shortlisted for Nobel Prize for Literature in 1984, Award of Asian Pen Anthology 1964, Kerala Sahitya Academy Award 1969, Sahitya Academy Award 1985, Honorary D.Litt by University of Calicut 2006. On 31st May 2009, aged 75, she died at a hospital in Pune.
Aging is an important phase of human life. A person enters his childhood, experiences youth when he is full of energy and dreams to have luxury of life. Finally, he approaches his old age and encounters death. Relationship between people becomes stronger at every aspect of life, and there can't be a separation due to aging. This poem depicts. In this poem, the poet relates a personal experience. She brings out a common paradox of human relationships and portrays a sensational separation of a mother and a daughter. She has been able to capture almost all the emotions which a daughter is filled with on bidding farewell to her beloved mother. Sometimes we do feel deep sympathy for someone, but we fail to express it in a proper manner. Now, first of all, I will read out the poem for you, and it will be followed by the summary and explanation. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, dazed, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked out, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I look again at her wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache. My childhood's fear, but all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile. In this poem, Kamala Das explores the theme of aging, death, and isolation through a narration involving her mother. While driving from her parents' home to Cochin, she notices her mother sitting beside her dozing, which is a very common phenomena. The old people sleep very easily. Her face pale like a dead body, and her thoughts far away. She is lost somewhere. This reminds her painfully that her mother is old and could pass away, leaving her alone, which is very common because the next stage after old age is death itself. Putting that thought aside, she looked out at the young trees speeding by and children running out of their homes happily to play. These remind her probably of youth and life, her own younger days, and her mother when she was young. But after the security check at the airport, looking back at her mother standing a few yards away, she finds her looking pale like the winter's moon. She feels that familiar pain and childhood fear of the thought of losing her mother and of being lonely just as she had been when she was young. Because she was different from other children, she could only keep smiling and tells her, "See you soon," knowing full well that she might not see her. Poetess is traveling to Cochin airport with her mother in a car. She looks at the wan, pale face of her dozing mother, which identifies the changes which have occurred in the mother with the passage of time. Old fear of losing her mother returns. This fear is getting separated from our parents and dear and near ones, which we have felt at one or the other point in our childhood. Old spinning trees and merry children provide the contrast and relief. Spinning trees is the image completely different from the stagnated age of mother, and the image of merry children provides a relief because it shows liveliness and sportiveness. After the security check, the old familiar ache returns. Again, the poet is referring the familiar ache that is being separated from our parents or near or dear ones. She tries to hide her emotions by smiling. Actually, her smile is a mask that is trying to hide her real feelings, the sadness and agony which she is going through. She bids goodbye to her mother with the hope to see her again. She says, see you soon, Amma, and assures her mother that they will definitely meet in future. Now let's go through the vocabulary in the poem. Wan. Wan means colorless or pallid, something which has lost its color. Late winter's moon. It means dim moon shrouded by clouds. Spilling means run out. Asian is grey. It is an attribute of old age. Ache means pain. Sprinting means a short, fast race or running. Now, one of the most important section, that is poetic devices. In 12th class, you are asked 1 marks questions from the poems based on the poetic devices. You will be asked some questions from the poem itself, finding out the poetic devices. So let's go through it. The first one is simile. Examples are: wan pale as a late winter's moon. The face of the mother has been compared to late winter's moon, and to show the comparison, word as has been used. So here the poetic device is simile. Second, her face ashen like that of a corpse. The face of the mother has been compared to that of a corpse, and to show this comparison, word like has been used. So the poetic device is simile. Second, the married children spilling out of their homes, though the comparison has been made, but no comparison words like as and like are used. So here the poetic device is metaphor. Next is young trees sprinting. Here the trees are treated as human beings and described as sprinting. So the poetic devices here in these words are personification. Next, repetition. I did pause, smile, smile, and smile in order to put a coherence and stress on the idea. The word smile has been repeated many times. So here the poetic device is repetition. So that's all for today's poem, and I think it is going to be very fruitful for all of you. Thank you.